I want to tell you a story. It's a great American folk tale, man. It's a tragic American fact. We kill people. We ruin people's lives. We defoliate great expanses of land. We ruin ozone layers. I guess Americans hate ozone. Where's ozone? Look, there's something green. Ha! Got you. Change the channel, you know. How much? You've just spilled 80 million gallons of oil into the ocean. Well, here's my charge card. Just fucking take care of it. You know, the biggest pricks. And I wanted to tell you about this guy. But before I tell you about the guy, I'm going to kind of give you a little history. Hey, there he goes. He's spoken. You are, okay. Are you going to make another pass? Can I go on with my shit? Thank you, sir. Like that guy. Don't steal the fucking show now, man. Don't fucking kick my ass here, man. I'm fucking winging it here. I'm fucking doing the best I can. I was born and raised in Washington, D.C. in 1961. And D.C. is a tough town. It is the #1 leader of homicide in America. So my hometown is fucking #1, man. Which is kind of cooler than having your home football team be #1. Our team won the Super Bowl. Yeah, we kill more people where I come from. Fuck you, you know? Like, oh, okay. So D.C. is a tough town. And I grew up in this part of D.C. called Northwest, which is just the upper part of the diamond. D.C. is a diamond. I was packed up into Northwest all my young life. And in my neighborhoods that I lived in with different apartment buildings and houses with my mom, things were kind of like Dennis the Menace or Brady Bunch, you know, like those old style cartoons where you'd see the local mailman. Hi. Hello, Henry. Hey, here's your package from that cereal coupon you mailed in. I think there's a decoder ring in here for you. Yay. You know? And you'd see the local milkman. He'd be putting milk down on people's, front porches and shit. And you'd see the firemen, every once in a while. Look, there's a cat in a tree. We'll get it down, don't worry. And you see the local policemen. They were guys who were like human beings. They walked through your streets during the week. Henry, keep your bike off the street. Okay. Don't talk to strangers. I won't. Stuff like that. And during the weekends, you'd see the same guy. He'd be out there hosing down his car, washing his car. You played football with his son. This guy was a human being. He was not something you were afraid of. He's not someone you would see and go, oh my God, a cop, what am I doing wrong? Oh, ah. You just go, oh, there's a cop. And I'm not a bank robber, so he doesn't give a fuck about me. Right? Because I'm not a bad guy. He's a cop. He does bad guys. I go to school. So he leaves me alone. So I never had any run-ins with cops, really, because I'm not a bank robber or a kidnapper, so they got nothing to do with me. So when I turned 20, I moved out and I joined Black Flag in Southern California. And the first thing the guys in the band tell me is, Henry, you got to be really careful of cops around here. They're really bad. And I don't know, because I'm raised with cops as like, hello, Henry. Hello, sir. And they're cool, they don't fuck with you. And I'm like, you guys just have a bad attitude, man. Cops are cool. Henry, cops are not cool. They will fuck your shit up. Be careful. You guys just have a bad attitude. You're anarchists. You're trying to overthrow the government. I know your type. So, I'm handing out flyers for this gig, this Black Flag gig. We were handing out flyers in front of the Palladium, which is this club it's like a 5,000-seat theater in Hollywood. And the Go-Go's were playing that night. Now, we would often go to other bands' shows because there's going to be a ton of people at them, and we'd hand out flyers for our own gigs. People do that all the time. So we used to flyer our own gigs, and we'd be out all day like wheat pasting this shit to light poles and anything that wouldn't move. And so we were covered with drying wheat paste. We're in like these like raunchy clothes, way too big for us, belts made out of rope. I mean, we were like, doing that bohem thing, but really extremely, eating like, hunks of bread and like big hunks of cheese and all drinking out of like 1 gallon, jugs of like fucked up apple juice and stuff. Really living the stripped down life, the rock and roll lifestyle, which means you get fleas and everything on you always itches for some reason. And you're always going like this. So anyway, we're out there handing out flyers to Go-Go's fans. Go-Go's fans are beautiful girls. Girls are the typical Southern Californian girl who you don't believe really exists until you go there. And you're like, what planet are you from? Legs up to here, tan, blonde hair, blue eyes, and they're just like, they're perfect. Is your face been airbrushed at birth? They're like this, they're like automatons, like, hi, I'm the perfect vision of beauty, you know? And so we're up there like smelling like our butts and handing out these flyers like, you know, some cop having his head torn off or something. We're like, hey, there's a black flag flyer. She's like, oh, flag, oh, I'm so sure, get off, no way. And like, you know, you pick up the flyer and and so the other Go-Go's fan is like Choco Homo, Surfman. Huge guy. It's like, you know, hey, where's the babes? You know, 6'3", blonde hair, blue eyes, perfect cheekbones, great physique. Not huge, but physically capable. Good swimmer, good volleyball player, good surfer, you know, jock, but not showing it too much. Just definitely looks like a guy who could probably kick your bony punk ass. Split the square, come with a real man. The girl turns around and goes, the guy turns around like, I'm gonna kick some ass. He looks at you, you are so pathetic, he doesn't even bother. He's like, and he walks away, and we're like, this is so cool. So we're out there for like 2 hours handing out flyers and just picking them up after people drop them or throw them at our heads and stuff. And I'm about to hand out more flyers, and all of a sudden, Chuck Dukowski, the bass player at the time, grabs my arm and throws me. I go flying through the air, flyers flying everywhere. This thing whizzes past my ear, like, ew. I go ass over tea kettle onto the ground, bumping into this small retaining wall that blocks the sidewalk from the parking lot. I get up thinking, like, what the fuck was that about, man? I was just going to hand out a flyer. Why did he throw me around like that? And what was that thing that passed my ear? I get up. It's a guy, a cop on a horse, going by me, just following through with his billy club. Basically, he was the polo player. I was the punk rock polo ball. And it went by my ear. I think it was aimed for right at the back of my head. And I felt it go by my ear. That shit was going fast. If that hit me in my head, my fucking brains would have come through my nose, you know? So I immediately went from like, all cops are okay and you should just learn to get along in your community, to like, I fucking hate all pigs, fucking stab them, cut them into pieces, and their fucking families, and fucking the next door neighbors, and the hometown they come from, fuck it, just napalm everyone. You know, it doesn't take much to just hate them all, you know, because I'm sitting there thinking, fuck, man, I'm handing out pieces of paper on the sidewalk. Do I really need to get pounded over the head with a billy club for handing out a piece of paper? Isn't that a little bit extreme? Fuck those guys, you know? So, right around that time, we play a show, and this band opens for us, and the band is called Circle One. They have a singer. His name is Big John. John Macias. John is one of those guys who's born big. I mean, you see those guys, you're like, how the fuck did you get like that? I don't know, man. I just, you know, those are always the guys who have Harley Davidsons. Like, they're always like those biker guys, and their arms are huge. You work out? No, man. I just curl beers, buddy. And they're always just big, fucking big guys. John was like one of these big guys. From the waist to the shoulders. Forearms, biceps. You know, if he went like this, the shirt would rip, you know. Like, John, man, what do you bench press? Like Buicks? He's like, no, man, I don't work out. Get the fuck out of here. You work out like 20 hours a day. No, man, I'm like this. Some people, I guess that's it. They got some kind of metabolism. John had black jack boots up to here. Knee-high jack boots. Plaid pants. Some fucked up punk rock shirt cut off at the sleeves. Shaved head, sometimes shaved eyebrows, and a big gold hoop earring on the side of his ear. He looked psychotic. Huge guy. And you'd be at some punk rock gig, and this is in the days where, like, you know, people would be slamming in the crowd. The bouncers are like frustrated jocks who don't get laid, so they want to beat everyone up. And so they see kids moving too fast. These are guys who aren't aware of much. They're only aware of like bright, shiny objects and things moving very quickly. Otherwise, they are like semi-inert. They see some kid in like some Day-Glo social distortion shirt flying by. That's enough to excite them. all they can do to quiet a crowd is to grab one 120-pound boy in a extra large Social Distortion shirt, pick him off the ground like a rag doll. We all, kids like, you know, and like, what are you gonna do? Go up to the guy like, all right, man, let's go. You know, he would just go like, so there's nothing you can do, and you're just like watching some kid get the snot pounded on him. You're like, oh man, God, I can't watch this. And every once in a while, man, some total injustice would be happening. The crowd would part, and coming through the crowd is Robo-Punk, John Macias. Just like, when he would get mad, you think some guys get mad, they're like, John would just go like, he would go up to this guy, no matter how big, and we all like, damn. But he was out here like, yay, John. He beat up the giant, yay. Because none of us could stand up to these guys because he was big enough and just totally crazy enough. And so anyway, John had his band Circle One, and they're like a kick-ass punk rock unit. And they opened for us, and so we're all like, whoa, there's John's band, all right. And John is so intense on stage. I mean, he's got like 4 or 5 moves because his body, I mean, he's only built for killing, right? So he's on there now, he's fronting his band, so he's like... You know, and he's just going from like position to position, you know. And they had this, their big hit. Every band had the one song that everyone would like go in circles extra hard for, you know. And their song was Highway Patrolman. And we heard it one time, and none of us remembered it, but by the time we got back to the van, it was, Highway Patrolman, die, 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 die. We'd fall over laughing, you know? Because you know how it is, no matter how intimidating or scary someone is, as soon as they're gone, you start bagging on them. Like, hey, John, how you doing, man? Cool. He'd leave, you're like, hey, man. Who am I right now? You know, that kind of shit. But it's friendly, you know, because you like the guy, but, you know, he's such a trip that everyone, you know, you're doing John. You got it, you know. And so, one day, John and I, one evening, hey, there's a bug around here. Get that bug out of here. Whose bug is that? It's a skunk bug. I flew that bug in from Indiana. God damn it, get it back. Anyway, we're hanging out at this place called Okie Dogs. Okie Dogs is like this shitty hamburger place on Santa Monica Boulevard. The great thing about Okie Dogs is they're open all night, and they feed you for very cheap. And no matter how little money you had, they would invent food for you. I have $1, and these guys are like, $1. What can we do for $1? Fried egg sandwich. You like eggs? Yeah, sure. Cool. White bread, mayonnaise, fried egg, lettuce, tomato, $1. Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Okie Dog. I have not eaten all day. These guys are so cool, man. They're like, you know, saints. You know, they would feed you for no matter what money you had. Because a lot of these guys on the streets are like panhandling. You know, I got $1.25, help me. You know, and they'd figure it out. You know, they'd make it work. So anyway, John and I, we had like, you know, little money, and we got enough money together for each of us to have a big plate of steaming French fries, grease and potatoes, and a Coke each. And we are sitting at this table eating for the first time all day, and we are so happy that we are eating. You know how it is? It's like the peanut butter and jelly sandwich at the museum. You've been sitting on it all day, and you will never eat anything like that in your home. But after like 12 hours of looking at like, you know, frescoes and mosaics, you're like, oh my God, this is the best thing I have ever tasted, because you're so hungry. So anyway, we are eating these shitty French fries going, oh, I love food, I love food, I love food. Everyone is at tables all around us going, yeah, hanging out, talking. And everyone goes from, yeah, and to silence. I'm like, what happened? Look up. There's a huge policeman at our table looking down at us. Get up, faggots. I got right up. John? John's not moving. He's just eating. I want you faggots to leave. Okay, I pick up my food. I'm about to leave. Leave the food, faggot. I look at the food. I'm really hungry. But what am I going to do? No. I put the food down. I'm about to leave. John doesn't even look up. Don't go anywhere. I don't know who I'm more afraid of. I seen what John does. I don't know what the cop's capable of, but he's a cop, and he's big. So I have to affect this pose like I'm kind of going and I'm kind of staying. So I kind of go like... And I make like, I'm fixing to go and I'm fixing to sit down. Because I'm afraid of like him to go like... And the cop to go... Ugh. So I'm stuck in the middle of like two big gnarly guys. I'm like... Cop says, I thought I told you to get up, faggot. You see John put down the French fry. I'm like, oh no. Because I've seen that look before. I know what happens. And he gets up really slowly for like dramatic effect, I think. He's like... You see the cop regarding John as John gets up. That guy's pretty big. Damn, man, he's got some size to him. That guy's really big. Fuck. John's got like 2 or 3 inches on this cop, at least a nose and a half higher. He's at least as broad and within 10 pounds of this cop either way. The cop all of a sudden realizes he's dealing with a guy he might have to shoot. The cop tries to maintain what they call in Los Angeles command presence. And that's when a cop displays a certain amount of control so he can be in any situation, like 90 gang members pointing guns at one cop. He'll be like, all right, drop the guns or I'm going to have to kick some ass. It's all Strasbourg method acting. You know, it's all like, you know, they make them do the method. You know, think that you're, you know, Mel Gibson in Lethal Weapon 3 and nothing will happen to you, right? You'll get rescued by, like, the chick who's the other guy's love interest, okay? So they learn to have no fear. And so you see the cop like, and you see the cop's mind working like, shit, fuck. Out of the corner of the cop's eyes, you see the cop's eyes move over, desperately scanning Santa Monica Boulevard, looking for, oh, maybe the National Guard or 90 or 100 extra cop cars that might happen to be going down the street. There's nothing. He looks back at John. John's like, just ready, you know? And the cop goes, you guys hurry up. He walks away. All the tables explode into laughter. You guys hurry up! You guys hurry up! Everyone's like losing it, you know? Because John beat the cop. I finish my food. John is just like, pulse rate didn't even raise. Just eating, he looks over at me and goes, hey man. I go, yeah? Don't take shit. Okay. All right, thanks, John. I finished the food, man. I went running back to SST down Santa Monica Boulevard. I came in. I said, man, you should have seen John, man. John made an L.A. cop back off. No way. Way. It was the most amazing thing you've ever seen, man. The guy was big, John was big, and he did that shit to him, man. So anyway, years go by, and John becomes like, you know, punk rock judge of the scene. You see 2 punk rockers beating the snot out of each other, like Timmy Snot is fighting, you know, Joey Spike. And you, like, all of a sudden you see these 2 guys fighting each other, and they're up in the air. John is holding them up. Don't fight. You, shake hands with him. You, shake hands with him. Now embrace. Unite. Off they go to thrash some more. You wanted peace in the scene. Punks unite. And you're like, damn, John, man, you are serious. The guy was intense, you know? And so anyway, years go by. I don't see John because, you know, I don't hang out. I tour, you know. I'm away from L.A. a lot of the year. Thank goodness. Anyway, tough town. Anyway, I get back from touring in Europe. And I go into my room, drop my bags, and sometimes my friend would cut out interesting newspaper articles or interviews with people and leave them on my desk so I could, like, check shit out. Well, I was gone. So anyway, well, I go into my desk and look down and see what my friend has left me. And it's a big section of the LA Times, the Metro section. Full section of the Metro section sitting on my desk. I go, oh, the Metro section. Metro section is the bad section. It's where you read about all the raping, shootings, stabbings, daily mutilations and murder. It's about this thick. It's a heavy piece of the Times. It's about 2/3 of the entire LA Times. And so I pick it up and I look at it and I go, why am I looking at the Metro section? I see this big picture of John Macias. It's like half of the top sheet. And it's a color picture, his graduation shot. He's, got his cap on. He's like, I'm like, whoa, John Macias. Die. Circle one. And I flip over the newspaper and I read the article. Here's what the article said. It said that John has chemical imbalances. He's up, he's down, he's up, he's down, he's up, he's down, and he takes drugs to stabilize his condition. John gets off his medication. John finds himself in Santa Monica, about 7 miles north of the airport. He goes into this breakfast place, some, small diner place, orders some breakfast. Food comes, John's eating away, drops the fork, starts talking to the ceiling of the restaurant. The devil is coming, Satan is coming, ah, ha, 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 ha. The owner of the restaurant goes, right, and calls the cops, get this big, bald guy laughing at my ceiling out of my restaurant. The cops come, you got to leave, we heard you were laughing at the ceiling, I don't know, there's some kind of code against it, you got to go. John leaves peaceably, they go out onto the sidewalk, and this is what, it was a quote in the LA Times, this is what John said to the cop, he said, God will see that you die, pig. Which I think is just one of the slickest one-liners I have ever heard. I mean, that's right up there with Henny Youngman, Fred Nietzsche, all those guys, man. I mean, if it was a Saturday night, 8 p.m., you're out there with your date, and you got your movie money, and you got to make a big decision. You're at the Odeon, and there's all those movies. And you're like, okay, Dracula, Lethal Weapon 8, Rocky 12, Friday the 13th, 40, The Return? What the fuck? God will see that you die, pig. You look at your date. We're going. I'd go. Because there'd be a lot of cool shit happening. Before they'd even have the intro, like, there'd just be dead bodies dropping onto the floor of the theater. It'd be a great movie. Because there'd be pigs dying and shit burning and cars chasing each other and shit. It'd be one of those kind of movies. You'd have a good time. So, I was thinking, well, God, that's so awesome. God will see that you die, pig. Pretty cool. So anyway, the cops go, hey, easy, man. And they let him go. Apparently he's within his rights to say, God will see that you die, pig. They must have thought he had a good writer. Hey, who's your writer? You're good. So John proceeds north, up the street, and he goes to the Santa Monica Pier. There's a guard standing on the pier sidewalk. One of those rent-a-cop guys. Guys who guard cement. Picks up the security guard, throws him off the side. Which is kind of funny if you think that he fell into the water, into a bunch of pelican shit, and swam to shore. Ah, ha, ha, ha. You got wet. The big psycho threw you off the side. Ah, ha, ha. He fell onto a cement access road and broke nearly every damn bone in his body. Not so hot. John proceeds east on Colorado Boulevard, goes into a McDonald's. Inside the McDonald's, there's a woman who is visiting America from Germany. She has just gotten her food. She's pulling out from the counter. John grabs this woman, spins her around, pops her right in the face. Just slams her right in the puss. She falls on the ground, out. John goes from the McDonald's, proceeds east. He goes about a block and a half up the street. There's a bunch of cars waiting at a red light. John goes up to the driver on one side, grabs him, and starts trying to pull him out of the car. At this moment, Santa Monica policeman arrives on the scene, hearing calls of, there's a big guy, he threw a guy off the pier, he punched a woman in the McDonald's, get over here now. He goes, arrives at the scene, sees John pulling a guy out of his car. He says, stop, let that guy go, freeze. John turns around, sees the cop, drops the guy, goes after the cop. The cop fired his gun 6 times. John was hit 2 times in the chest, 2 times right in the face, killed him. And so I'm reading this. This is like 10 blocks from my house. I'm going, fuck. This guy, I know that guy. I knew that guy. You know, if you read that story and you didn't know him, you'd read it and go, damn, man, that's really intense. Turn the page to the sports. Because it's not someone you know. And if it's just a matter of turning a page or changing a channel, you do it. You know, but I knew this guy, so I'm reading this one like, holy shit, man, that's John. He got shot? No way. I mean, I'm tripping, man. This is no way. My friend calls me and says, did you read the article? I go, yeah, man, is this shit for real? He's like, yeah, man, John's dead. I'm like, fuck. And so my friend says, let me come over and get you. Let's get the video camera. Let's document John's last walk. Let's go to each spot in chronological order. I go, okay, sounds like something we've got to do. So we get the camera. We go to each place. It's easy to find. It's right up the street. And so we go out of the McDonald's and we go east on Colorado looking for blood or signs of something, chalk. We don't know what we're looking for. It happened 7 days before. So we figured, well, there's not going to be any blood because they hose down that kind of shit, right? They don't let blood from some dead guy sit on the sidewalk. Aren't there laws against that kind of shit? Of course there are. So we're walking up the sidewalk looking for blood-like objects. And it's a fucking public sidewalk. Everything looks like dried blood on it. Gum, Coke, everything. You're like, is that blood? It's gum now. What's that? I don't know. That's not blood. I mean, and we're like, what are we doing? We're wasting our time. We don't know where this happened. Let's get out of here. We look up right overhead of us is blood, all the blood you want to see. Blood everywhere. All over there. We're like, fuck, Joe, look. We go over there. Man, all this dried blood. Blood in long drops, like with long tails, like, you know, motion. Blood splattered all over the bushes. Blood everywhere. And we're like standing there like going, fuck, they didn't clean up shit, man. That's John. And it was really trippy. You know, I guess he kind of had to be there. But we just stood there like stoned. It was like, damn. And people are walking by us going, what is wrong with these two guys holding a video camera looking at the sidewalk? We look like those people looking at Michael Jackson's Star. And we're sitting for like 5 minutes going like, do you believe this shit? Fuck. Because both of us knew this guy. And we're just, you know, stone cold tripping, you know? And so we said, well, we better document it, right? So Joe videos the blood. We take snapshots of the blood. I stand in the blood and talk about John. This is where John Macias died. I knew John for 11 years. I go on now. I go, okay, well, I guess we documented him okay. I took some leaves off the trees that were dipped in his blood, and I took them home, and I put them in a coffee cup, and they're still sitting on a shelf next to my computer. And I don't know, there's no big moral to the story, like, you know, stay on your medication or something, you know, but it's just so fucked up. You know, I knew this guy. He got shot like a fucking dog in broad daylight on the street. It's just a fucked up country, you know, it's fucked up. I don't know what else to tell you, man. This shit happened. I just figured you might want to hear about it. He was a pretty good guy. He's a real good guy. I'm just sorry that it went down like that. I don't know.